day, but things seem to have cooled off recently, it seems.
Yep, definitely going to be an interesting match, and as I alluded to, Atypical with a big win over 11s, but they easily could have won because it's a marathon, not a sprint. You start hard, and now Atypical finds themselves in round 5 at 2-2, so you got to show everyone that you're not out of gas and you're still capable of the big win.
Well, we'll get into it here. Atypical in the blue, Nocturn in the orange. We've got Nani onto the backboard, and a player who is in the running for my favorite name of all time. I thought Schmoopernator had it cleanly in OC, but Gonk also making a run for best name in all of Rocket League. Here's Cesaro for a shot, blocked by Nani. And now David back up to Nani here in the cherry pick. Dislike in the back. You get beat by Gonk. Here's Pan with an open net, puts it above the net. That's the goalie gonna miss it, and a follow-up shot from Cesaro is gonna be good. That's the first goal for Nocturne.
Puts it above the net because it's the only choice. I mean, sure, it looks open, but it's not necessarily free. Decides to go for the much easier option, hit it off the wall, let Cesaro score it. I mean, Pan can definitely put that one in the net, but if you're not really comfortable with your angle of approach, just flip it up off the wall one more time, and sometimes the defense is going to get there. In this case, they didn't. Wants to double tap, and Pan says, yeah, I can still score the ball. Don't worry, everybody.
Oh my, I love this. So aggressive, just goes for the straight on air dribble, taps it down, 2-0. Nocturne Gaming lighting it up. Well, I guess they're probably actually making it dark. They're Nocturne Gaming. They're not, it's the opposite. They don't like the light. There's Dislike up against Cesaro, off to the edge, gets it behind him. But the zoning will be good enough to stop an immediate attack, and oh my goodness, Cesaro's got to get the stop, and now Pan in to get a block, and now the counterattack back the other way. Is anybody here? Just goes for the shot outright. Nice block from Dislike, but the fall from Gonk onto the wall. He's got one teammate in the midfield, but David will cover it up before anything else can materialize. Cesaro tries to make a move to keep the pressure on, but a miss in the midfield will actually be the defining moment here. And it'll stall things out back in front. There's Gonk to Pan, and it's just good. Gonk scores it.
Gonk, the fast recovery here in the midfield. Dislike just beats one, but the quick dismount beats Nani as he's thinking that he has time to go up there and get that ball, but a nice clean recovery and a quick flick towards the net. Excellent play from Gonk.
3:27, barely a minute and a half in, and Nocturne Gaming light it up. Here comes another one. No, off the post. Here's the follow from Gonk, blocked by Dislike. Cesaro gets the quick turn on it, looks for another shot, but it's off to the edge. Now Gonk up on the wall. He's got Pan in the midfield. Pan's gonna go for it. Just a little bit late on the read though, and Dislike now up against Cesaro. He's got the flick on one. He's got someone to pass to as well. Lost control of the ball, but there's the pass play, blocked again, and the quick commit here from Atypical. They are constantly on the retreat. Cesaro gets blocked on the first attempt, but here's Gonk at an empty net as everybody from Atypical is just so antsy to get back on offense.
Yeah, you really felt like Atypical needed to score that counterattack. They're down 3 before halftime even reaches there, and you felt like they definitely caught Nocturne shoving a little too hard, but their own counterattack took too long to develop, excuse me. That means that they just sit here and continue to have to play from behind at a great deficit as Pan and Cesaro trying to work a little bit of midfield magic.
So we got Nani and Dislike. Looking to put pressure on David. We'll have this one for free. David Trox follows it through. Pan with a stop. Nani now. Was hoping for a setup, didn't find anything. Pan gets a demolition on a Dislike, paving the way for Gonk. Gets another one! Cesaro's got a whole net to shoot at, but just took too long gaining control of that ball, and the 2 demolitions will not be enough. Not often you say that. 1:48 on the clock, and Atypical now just trying to get on the board.
Tough play for Nani there. Again, so close. I mean, really, Atypical is just pixels away from being able to tip that ball into the middle because they've got the defense beat. Just losing out on that final setup chance where they can't make the touch. And that one was close to being in as Davitrox is trying to jam it through.
Oh, so much pressure from Atypical, but no goals. Is this finally one? No, it's off the crossbar now. Davitrox not quite enough. Nani now looking for Dislike, covered up by Cesaro and out to Pan. the clears from Nocturne Gaming have been so strong. They are always going straight onto a teammate's hood, and it has made their counterattack game so deadly. And that is being exacerbated by the aggression from Atypical. Now in the final minute, you expect the aggression. They've got to be up and on offense. Got to get something on the board, but down by 3 in the final minute. This one's looking over already despite the effort. Dislike wants to go for it, but Gonk is out to the edge. And we'll see Nocturne Gaming continue to play stalwart defense.
Man, and they're so close. There's a great cross into the middle. This needs to be in, but he's just quickly met by Pan. The defensive recovery efforts going on from Nocturnes here in this final minute have really been quite something to watch. I mean, it's 3 people diving left and right. Pan will jam another one in from above the crossbar. And good night, game 1.
Platinum. Oh my goodness, he's trying to turn this ball into a pan pizza, but it squeezes out the bottom end of the goal. That's the second one. He's like pitched off the crossbar and straight down. And that one will absolutely decide the game. No way they're coming back from being down 4 in 20 seconds. Nocturne Gaming lighten this one up. We heard him on the desk. Feeling strong about Nocturne. And Atypical's kind of cool run continues here. We've got 2 more games to figure it out.
Yeah, I think Atypical played okay here. I mean, I felt like they definitely caught Nocturnes out a couple of different times there in that game. I mean, Nocturnes shoved real hard. Granted, they were putting on a lot of great pressure out of the midfield and making it tough for them to transition, but there were definitely a few times where it was no trouble for them to break out of the half, get a nice quick push down to the other end. And it's just, you wonder how all of Atypical aren't all on the same page, and it could come down simply to just the guy that needs to be there to follow up a challenge or make the shot just doesn't have the boost and is playing too far back because they don't want to be too aggressive since they're not sure if they'll be able to make the play or what. But one way or the other, so many chances you felt could have come to fruition for Atypical if they had all just been a little bit more on the same page and a little more cohesive. But one way or the other, Pan still drills 2 sick double taps and sets up a pass for two goals and an assist. So, I mean, It's going to be tough beating a team when they're playing like that.
No, Pan doing his best baguette impression there. If there's any bread he is right now, it's French. We'll get into game number 2. How do you cool them off? The thing I want to see from Atypical, I love the coordinated aggression. I love the faith. They're going for it, assuming their teammates are going to be winning the challenges. The problem is actually you have to win the challenges for that play to work out. So if they're able to get that midfield game a little bit stronger, we might see a very different ball game here. Pass back out to Pan. Now David Trox into the air, underneath one, going to try and regain control of this ball. Covers up from Cesaro, excellent challenge. And now the pass down to Dislike. It's just wide of the goal. Oh my goodness, they did everything right except for putting it in the net.
You had him, and this one also going to be in an awkward spot. Cesaro, great command there. Excellent read, but man, you feel for Atypical. That if there was ever one that was going to go in, it should have been that one. As Pan trying to create havoc there on the goal line. David Trox really just trying to force some presence of field onto that Nocturnes defense, but they're just struggling to hang on to the ball.
3:50 on the clock. At this point, we pretty much had 3 goals already in game number 1, so an improvement on the defensive side of things for Atypical. Dislike to this guy up against Pan. And now back down. See David Trox in the midfield, onto the backboard. Nobody's home. Here comes, Nanny tried. Now Dislike, slow play underneath Gonk. Off the wall, trying to get it past 2. Going to bounce down in. Can David pick this one up? Look for the half flip shot, I guess. Didn't really get the shot or a half flip out of it. Now Pan over to Dislike towards the goal, and Gonk's got the block. There's Nani out of net. 1 for 2 touches, got challenged. The ball will bounce into his box. Dislike takes it to the air. Out of boost, though. He'll have to drop it off, and Gonk onto the backboard once more. Double commit from David, and Nani moves them onto offense. Pan over the top of 2 of them, leaving just David in the backfield. Lost control high in the air. Here comes Gonk for the shot, blocked by David. Follow up from Gonk on the ground now. So it was Pan actually who was up on the challenge. Now Dislike back in front. Pan to the edge. And approaching halftime, still scoreless in what has been a much more defensive game. Excellent defensive stop.
A much more defensive game for Nocturns, no doubt, but there's one missed touch. Unfortunately, gets too far ahead of him, and now Dislike in a real bad spot and Pan right down towards the net, but able to make the tip out. Dislike, great recovery effort, though, in an awkward spot.
Dislike cranks it to the net. Goalie handles it just fine. Cesaro now with the challenge. All past one in the midfield. Pan's trying to challenge. Dislike gets it around two of them. Passes off to David. David Trox through the air. Up against one. Gets it underneath him. Pan gets the block on the ground. Gronk gets another stop. And now Pan back out. Down the field on the counterattack. That's been so deadly from Nocturne. Now Pan. Off the edge. Into the corner. Gonk off the wall. Cesaro with the stop. Keeping the ball in offense. David Trox with the attempt to get it out, but here's Pan once more up against two goalies. Just sends it on target. Dangerous. Both goalies were up. Falling down out of the sky. Nani will get one block, but there's a demolition. Opens it up for Pan. The ball's behind him. Nani can score this, and he does. Pushes it up and in. That's Atypical with the lead.
Yeah, you gotta score this if you don't come up with this touch. I think they just ran out of boost. Yeah, nothing in the tank for him there at the midfield. Went up to try and buy some extra time, but ends up giving away the goal. Tough break for Nocturns, but they've been playing a lot of defense here in this game. Atypical, slight shot lead. Can they find one more to put it away and tie things up?
Here's the pressure. They back off. Nani had control. And another miss could open up an opportunity. Pan over the top of one. Oh, and another miss on defense. There's a shot from Gonk, covered up by David on the goal line. Cesaro onto the backboard. Doesn't have a second touch. Nani with a long clear. David with the shot. Pan on the respawn, I believe, gets the block. 39 seconds left. Gonk kind of reverse Goomba'd, I guess.
Ooh.
Up to Pan. Oh, what a shot! Oh, David gets the cover. Dislike on the challenge. Gonk gets it up. Oh, no, down the field. David might be able to put in the clincher. Cesaro on the respawn gets the cover up. Now 22 seconds left. Bounces off the ground. This will just wide of the goal. Dislike will challenge it anyways. And now Gonk in the midfield for Cesaro. Infield pass covered up by Nani. And down the field once more, looking for another open net. What a play from Pan to keep it in it. 8 seconds left. Only a one-goal game. If they can keep it in the air, they could possibly send us to overtime, but the pressure from Atypical just a bit too much. High in the sky. Nani will try to take it to an empty corner once more, put it on the ground. Pan keeps it alive. Cesaro back to the edge.
Wow, this is tough.
David, the place on target. It actually goes in off of Gonk's hood. That's a funny way to end the game here. What was a strong effort from Nocturne to keep it alive, but Atypical will tie up the series.
Yeah, Nocturnes trying their best. I mean, managing a lot of really awkward approaches to challenges there at 0 seconds. When you know the ground is lava and you're trying to also follow an air dribble and be wary of the fake and read the bounce off the wall, it all gets a little bit confusing, and they handled it pretty nice. Gonk, I think, trying to get that ball to ping off the crossbar and go forward. Unfortunately, just a little too far in front of it, ended up putting it in his own net. But tough break there for Nocturnes, but what a turnaround for Atypical. I mean, that's more of that counterattack where they just stretched themselves a little too thin on the Nocturne side, and they had to play a lot of divey defense. And this time around, Atypical able to turn in a couple, and it also helps that big mistake in the midfield for that second goal with no boost.
Man, imagine,
first goal, sorry.
Imagine if Gonk gets the perfect pinch off the crossbar and it flies the
It just goes
entire
straight
length
in.
of the field. Oh, that would be my favorite thing that's happened today.
That'd be the most Gibbs goal I've ever seen.
Gibbs will take it for sure. Tied up at 1 apiece as we go into game 3. Both these teams looking to make it through to next weekend and avoid elimination. Just like onto the back wall. Gonk out to Cesaro. And there's been a few different times I've called the counterattack from Nocturne Gaming deadly. I've said that it's a strong counterattack they've got to look out for. The thing is, they haven't actually scored off of it yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's just how impressively fast they get down, and they really force honesty out of Atypical. Like, are you? It's like checking the runner on first base or something as the pitcher. Like, you might not actually throw him out, but you just gotta make sure he's awake.
Yeah.
Because they're putting so much pressure on with those counterattacks. This one's dangerous. Cesaro will cover it up and get it away.
You cannot afford to be sleeping on the midfield line if you're Nocturns. Can't get complacent. You really need to be careful with how aggressive you choose to be. As Cesaro is able to somehow tip that out into the corner, picks up the boost, and a dangerous long clear. Great reception from Pawn, and not quite open. Dislike dives out of the corner. Gonk and Pan get all tied up with each other. Results in a weak shot, and Atypical get away with one.
It looked like Cesaro might have almost been in the right spot to let the ball bounce off him and go in. The pressure from Nocturne built up, and unlike anything we saw in game 2. It's now back down the field for Nani. Gonk up onto the air. He's got a flip reset, I believe. Is a little bit of a double commit, but that'll send it all the way to the corner. See how Atypical handles this.
Ooh, big backflip there, but he actually had all the time in the world.
Oh, there's a pressure from Dislike. Bounces off the goal line. Well done from Pan. Now Zaro back to midfield. Gonk to pick it up. Got countered by Nani. Now with the corner once more for Davitrox. There's Gonk across to Pan. Beats Nani, but ball is wide. Dislike now trying to do this all by himself. Zaro on the ground will fall back and wait for the play to develop in the midfield. Gonk now down to Zaro. Over the top and onto the backboard. Dislike gets a large piece of it, and he's looking for Nani in the corner. Off to the other side of the field. Here's Dislike onto the backside. Just keeps it high. Continues to just play passing ball. Nobody actually taking the shot yet. Dislike through 2. Gonk out of the goal. Up to midfield. Nani with a catch, and now Pawn. Back to Gonk. Flick over 1. And Zaro trying to close the distance. Dislike gets himself a savior medal. Look at Davitrox gets the bump on the 1. Save from Pawn on the rotation back in. Gonk won't actually touch it, and Pawn and Cesaro will move up together.
That's great recognition as well from Pawn in the midfield diving back, because he can see the guy going for the bump behind him, so he knows he's probably going to have to be the one to make the save and not to get complacent there and trust his teammate. Keep the ball out, tied up at 0 still, but it's that Atypical approach, just trying to cut off a lot of passes that Nocturnes are going for and put the pressure on them. It's just that support and that one follow-up that needs to be there for Atypical hasn't been, and that miss is going to allow a lot of free map control as the double bump, and that is the wrong side of the net to shoot at, right at Davitrox.
As he moved in, he had the read, knew the most likely place for the shot to be, covers it up, and keeps us scoreless with coming up on a minute left in the game. Pass down to Dislike. Pan off the corner. Now Zaro to midfield. Nani looking for a double tap, and is it in? It is. It bounced like 14 times, but Nani will score the first goal of game number 3.
Very delicate approach there for Nani. I mean, he had to use everything in the tank just to get up to that ball pretty much, and then he follows it with about 20 after initial contact and still able to drop that one under the bar. Tough shot. And the defense as well on the goal line was thinking there was going to be a challenge, and so they pulled themselves a little bit forward to try and react to wherever it went to. That meant they couldn't save it as it bounced around.
Oh, Gonk with the reads onto the backboard follow-up, covered up by Dislike. He gets in the way once more. The defense continues to have the reads. Now Davitrox looking for the security. Couldn't quite wrap it around that corner. But Zaro demolished Dislike onto the backboard once more. Pan with an excellent pop. Now Gonk through 1. And now through 2. Zaro and Pan gonna try and work together. Man, Zaro got the bump on the backboard, but I think he got bumped back into the ball. 4 seconds left.
One-on-one.
Zaro with space, half a tank of boost to the sky, goes to the soft play, went for the Justin goal. didn't quite work. Now David Trox off the backboard. Pan with a shot and blocked at the goal line. Well done, Atypical. Rally back to take the lead in the series.
Well done to Atypical. No save more important than the one-on-one with Cesaro. A little bit of that heavy first touch meant the ball got a little too far ahead, so his only option was to try and go for the bump play. Well handled by the defense in a scary spot. Atypical, I mean, they do it again. I feel like they could be comfortably winning those games if they were just a little bit more controlled with their approach. And thankfully as well, a couple of squandered opportunities there from Nocturns. I mean, 2 goals where really could have just been blasted at them.
They had the defense wide open a few times. There was a few of the shots were just straight up missed, bouncing off of crossbars or posts, and then a few others that were just a little bit too slow, easy to cover up. So as we go into game 4, Atypical, who's had a rough few series after beating the tournament favorites 11s, is now 1 game away from qualification. We'll see how they do here, and do Nocturns rally back. I mean, we're going on to Utopia Dusk. The stars are out. If there's a map for Nocturne,
this is it.
We've been on sunny maps up until this point.
Every night variant increases your boost efficiency by 10%.
That's right. Gives you a little buff. Over the side, Zara with a what? That was I can't believe he saved that. That was incredible. Pitches it off the crossbar, kills all inward velocity for the ball, and it just drops straight down, bounces off the goal line, and then gets cleared. Now Nani controlling the midfield, lost it after he ran out of boost. David off the wall. He's going to try and follow it up himself. Zara to cover him up. Nani picks up that bounce. Gonk up to Zara, looking for the soft touch, just trying to at least create something else for the defenders to read, but there were 3 of them. One of them got their wheel onto the ball. And more pressure from Nocturne off the bat. This one will finally go in. It's been a few games, but they're back on the board.
Surprising to see this one go in. I mean, they got 2 people pretty much right there. Oh, Nani drove too far back into the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was going to be a pretty clean save, but I think he just wanted a better angle and wasn't expecting that strong of a shot. Thought he had a little bit extra time.
I think the touch from the other defender coming off the backboard also, even if he had been there, would have put it into the goal. So either way, after a 10-minute drought, Nocturnes finally get back on the board. They've got the lead. Can they hold on to it? Haven't seen them score since the 4-0 shutout of game number 1, where we saw Pon absolutely light it up. Off the wall. Keeping it trapped in the back third. Nocturne. Gonk out to the midfield. And turns on this one. Nani caught a little bit flat-footed. Pon with a read, just cranks it to the goal and puts in a second one. Pon's got 2.
You feel like that was such a great touch out into the midfield from Atypical, but when the only one there for it is Pon, I mean, what are you going to do? They put him on the transition game one-on-one, wins the challenge, and then scores the goal. Excellent play from being just defending to instant transition into a goal.
Oh, they're looking for a third one now, trying to get us to game 5. As the clear comes through, Atypical. Need to play some defense. Nani up for the read. Bumps Pon a bit. Now pitches high. Zara not really going to be able to read this one, and is over the back line. Is this one all the way into the goal? This is an awkward play for Zara, but he makes the right decision. Gets on the inside of the ball. Here's the follow-up from Nani. Couldn't quite tuck it between the posts. And now Dislike trying to get around the corner. David moving back in the third man. Defense a little bit confused here, but Nani will quickly sort that one out. Still the double commit comes through. Now Gonk up for it. Tries to pass in the midfield. But both of his teammates had already been up on a shot. There was no one waiting for it, and Dislike on the counterattack can't quite push it down enough. Pon misses the ball in the midfield. Now Zaro up for it. This one going towards the goal. The smoke screen might be enough, but no, Zaro will get this one away. Pon quickly turns on this, gets the block at the point of contact, and gone through the air. We'll look for the read to keep the ball midfield.
Great touch. No bump, so close. David Trox with the right idea, and it really is just millimeters away from greatness here for Atypical. A couple of beautiful looks on the net.
Gonk, slow play on the ground. Gets it under David, but runs into Nani. Just like trying to come out of the midfield, getting taken away by Zaro. David onto the backboard, second touch.
Oh,
this one should be good. How is it out?
No!
No way! No, just rewind. That can't happen. Oh my goodness.
Oh, all 6 shots, and it feels like all of them could have gone in. What a disaster for Atypical.
Chiefs, it did go in. It went like 92% of the way in, bounces around and gets cleared.
Yes?
The fact that he
No!
on the flip didn't catch it, I don't understand. And Atypical still looking for their first goal here of game 4.
You gotta be joking. That is so heartbreaking. Such an irritating thing to deal with when you know you're putting on excellent chance after excellent chance. Gonk is a little slow. Nani caught a little bit of Gonk's car there, made it awkward, and that one goes in. The one where there's 2 defenders in position for it. That's the one that goes in.
It's the shot placement, upper 90, so difficult to be perfect on. Gonk nearly got there, but the shot is just too good. And finally, Atypical will get on the board after 2, not one. That one series of defensive situations was insane. But at the very beginning of the game, I remember Cesaro pitched one off the crossbar. That's the second time the ball's been halfway in the net. This game, and immediately they get the counter back to a 2-goal game, 1 minute remaining.
Product of the gravity effect, as I like to call it. Dislike is third man back, just following the play, forward, up the pitch, takes a horizontal skip, doesn't even think about the defense from Nocturns coming up to challenge that ball. He's just assuming it's free sailing for a moment at least because his teammates are going to make a challenge. Nothing happens, and he is all of a sudden too far forward.
47 seconds left. How about it? Pon's got himself a hat trick, 4-1 as they put in another one.
Well, let's go to game 5. This is just a beautiful bit of shooting. I mean, David Trox is there for it, but I mean, when you square it up that well from that tight of an angle, you're really not expecting it to be pretty much right at you. Generally, it's either going to be back post or off that wall that's right next to you, and Pon with just a beautiful bit of shooting.
There's a stop, 37 seconds left, down by 3. Atypical is going to need a monstrous effort to finish this off in 4 games, or else we are going to Champions Field once again. Onto the wall. There's Zaro.
Here's the question.
Oh,
you're kidding. Oh, well, hang on. I want to see if they get this one. Oh, okay, great play from David Trox. I was about to say, the real question is, okay, do they score again? Well, yes. You know what? I'll wait till after the game is over. I would totally believe Atypical could get 2 goals in 10 seconds here. I would totally believe it, considering
we saw some wild kickoff strats earlier with some quick kickoffs, some quick cheat ups. And they're like scoring in 2 seconds flat. This happened already twice today.
Okay, not with that.
But now they are running out of time. Now 2 seconds still isn't even enough time to win this one. The clock will expire. We will go to game 5. Achieves, what is the question?
The real question is it Champions Field day or night variant? That's
yes.
The real question here, because you called it, Wave. You know, it's the nighttime Utopia Dusk, and they win 4-2, basically 4-1. But
well, and
granted,
I believe our first map is Manfield night, so I think the 2 games they have won on were nighttime. The 2 games that they've lost on were daytime. Usually we do play Manfield night though, or Champions Field night. So Atypical might have their backs against the wall here if our bogus theory holds up.
That being said, I absolutely feel like this game 4 is a game that Atypical should have won. I mean, when you put together shot after shot after shot, and they are just fantastic looks at the net, and they just don't go in for whatever reason, you can't help but feel like they should have walked away with the win there in game 4. So we go to game 5. Nocturns hang on. Granted, Pon scored a great hat trick. You love to see it. That's great. Picking on the defense a little bit with some great shooting. But it's all coming down to this. And Atypical have it in them to rally back after a frustrating game 4.
The darkness reigns. It is nighttime. Will Nocturne manage to win in their element as they put the pressure on immediately, and it's Gonk in for the first goal.
And it's a product, again, of Pan's placement here. Yeah, that's possible to score, and he's definitely trying to. But the fact that it goes just above the net, and it's in just the right spot as you catch Atypical on rotation, where they're just a little too far forward and having to dive at the ball from so far away instead of being in a set position. And who cares, because David Trox just gets it right back almost immediately. So never mind. Pon does great, but he can't do everything.
Ooh.
And that's a nice bit of shooting.
It's like Gong. Gong might have feels backflipped man in the middle of the field there, but I think he probably wasn't reaching that ball anyways. Yeah. Excellent setup from Dislike. Devitrox will tie the game right back up. We've got a close one here in game 5.
Ding.
For the win. Pan gonna put in another one. They're trying to get to next weekend, and Pan just wants to go so badly.
Yep, I believe that if anyone was going to score it, it's going to be this guy, considering the shots that he's put in from right next to the goal in this series already. That one looks like cake for him. No problem. Excellent shot. 2-1 lead. Nocturns not going away.
3 goals in the first 30 seconds. Dave is going to try and make it 4. Now Zaro down the field. Demolition on the 1. Nani puts it right on the Gonk's hood. It's towards the goal, and Cesaro looks to push it in. Now David. Back to midfield. Pon through the air and off the wall. So play on 1. Gonk. Oh my goodness, dearly. Here's the shot and in. Zaro scores 1. And everybody's gotten on the board now.
Yeah, as soon as this ball got through Dislike, I mean, he makes the first block, but it's because Dislike is thinking he's going to have to challenge Pon for that ball. Pon is not thinking about that ball at all. He's like, I don't care. I'm just putting pressure on you, and I'm going to go smash the guy in net. And that is what leads to the ultimate downfall of Atypical there, because then it puts the pressure on the goalie in a terrible position, and they turn it into a beautiful goal. Well executed there from Nocturns.
They are up by 2. 3:47 left to go in the series. This comes down. Pon went for the read. It's off to the edge. Nani gets the demolition on the Zaro. Pon will cover it up, but that's a double commit. Leaves the net open. A bump on the goalie. Paved the way. Is the 2 touches enough? It is 2-3 now as Atypical's coming back.
I thought we were about to have more of the same, where it feels like David Trox should just be able to drill this somewhere on the left side, but shoots it high. Thankfully, Nani is there to cover it back up and get that one back on frame. So well done for Atypical to rally back and keep it tight. And they know that they cannot afford to keep missing great chances, so well done from Nani to score that. Is it fast enough?
This should not be in. Okay. It was also wide. Too slow and too big. It's Nani to the edge. Missed. And a clear from Zaro down the field. David Trox adjusts. Punts it from the corner. Pon with a response. Gonk up for it. Excellent read. Nani will get into it. Pon takes a shot. And it's just wide to the other corner. Zaro now with lots of room to play. Pon will turn on this. Gets called off by Gonk. He beats 1. Now Pon to the air. Flip reset. Doesn't really have the position to use it. Gets a bump on a goalie. Zaro up. Puts it just too high. Dislike will get up and get it away. Off to the corner. As we approach halftime. 1-goal game. Dislike's going to try and tie it up right now. Can he get this one for free? Off the crossbar and out. Completely empty net. And couldn't put it in. And now the counterattack from Nocturne.
Oh, that's awkward too. Dislike doesn't have a lot of boost to manage this challenge. Still slips it through 1. Big touch there. But they know they would have liked to score it, and that is a huge save as well. Atypical hanging on, and they can't afford to let that miss get in their head. Gotta forget about it. You still got 2 minutes, plenty of time to work with.
Here's Pon into the midfield. Nobody there for the infield pass. Double commit out of goal, too, would have meant that even if there had been a follow-up, maybe there could have been a go-ahead goal, a clincher. So we're into the final 2 minutes off the backboard. Trying to get a pass. Zaro got too much pressure on that. Now Pon, a third of a tank. Flip reset. Doesn't. No one bites on it. Dislike just covers him up. And Zaro with a miss. Dislike now up against Gonk in the backside. Gonk got it.
All in the same corner there.
Oh, gonna drop dangerous. Halfway into the goal and back out. That one was just lucky if it goes in, but of course it doesn't. Nocturne, they have got all the luck on their side.
Yeah, it's not 10% boost efficiency. It's that no goal that might go in will go in on nighttime, apparently.
They are the Murphy's Law. There, Pon. Back to the midfield. Zaro, or Gonk rather, taking the shot. Nani through 2. Pon over the top and towards the net. Dislike is there. Just deflects it to the corner. Zaro, the setup, got so much power on that last touch. Gonk's got to look for the repo, and now Pon in to try. Final minute, holding on by 1. A back and forth affair that's gotten us all the way to this deciding game. Dislike to try and tie it up right now in the waning moments. Gonk with a cover up, Pon. Zaro, counter attack. Pon lost control. Zaro's got to cover him up. Beats Nani, and Pon is looking to cause chaos on the back line. Dislike now just cranks it. Gonk's got the read. The follow-up off the post and back out to the far side. Pon to try and beat David. Now Zaro back in with 30 seconds left. Pass 1. Dislike out of the box with a long touch. And Pon will get there. But here's the follow-up from Nani. The stop from Zaro. No way. They don't have a follow-up shot. 15 seconds left. Still a 1-goal game. David can't make it happen. The stops have been incredible, but finally it goes in. Tie game.
Justice at last for Atypical. This one comes right down to Dislike. It's a race against Gonk and Zaro. I mean, I tip my hat to you, sir. You made one beautiful effort on the first one. 2 in a row is a lot to ask, and overtime is on a great possibility here.
You know how every save is kind of a clue. Wait, is it in? No, it's wide. Follow from Dislike, not going to happen. Overtime into Game 5. Next goal plays next weekend and sends the other team packing. Pans up for it. Off the edge.
Oh, dear.
Zaro's got it. Gonk also there. Pon trying to cover it up on his retreat back. Now Gonk through 1. What a touch from Zaro to extend it back to Gonk. Pon demolished in the midfield. Zaro all the way, going to play safe here in overtime. Dislike, what a pinch. Pon's up for it. Beats 2. Zaro just really caught an awkward spot, but manages to win the challenge anyways. Follows this up. He's got Gonk in the midfield to work with. If he can find the pass, there it comes down. David's caught it. David makes the clear. You've got to be kidding me. What a save. He had no right getting that ball away, and we're still playing.
Really starting to feel like Atypical were overreaching their bounds there for a moment, but a great stop on the goal line. Pan with a chance, and that is taken away. Again, you got to be real scared when it's that guy going up for the double taps, because he doesn't miss, it seems like.
Oh, Nani back in the midfield for the shot. David Trox turns it in. They scored in overtime, and Game 5 goes to Atypical.
Nani, a huge stuff on the midfield, and what is that shot from David Trox? 826 score, massive series winner. What a game from Atypical. What a series from Atypical. Atypical is right. I mean, how do you sit there and put that many shots on target, not hit anything, and then still just play out of your mind offensively for 2 games straight and pull that one back to win 4-3 and go on to next week? Wow.
And the game seemed to be controlled by Nocturne the whole time. Can we talk about Zaro's save there at like 18 seconds left of the game?
I thought they were done.
Every save is like also sort of a clear, except for that one. That was like, no, you get just the save. The ball technically is no longer going in the net, but it's not moving away from the net either. It just stopped right there. That was absolutely bonkers. And I thought the game was over. When they didn't score that goal, it was going to be too demoralizing. But the moment this overtime ended, all of Nocturne insta leaves the lobby. That is such a heartbreaking loss for that team.
Yeah, I mean, they really did play a fantastic series. You know, Pon played great. Honestly, they all played great for Nocturne. I mean, you are not wrong to say that is a devastating loss, because they know that they really had their backs against the wall, and they were given second chance after second chance too. And that's what makes it hurt even more, because they know that they probably could have been beat a lot sooner. And the fact that it got that close and still didn't pull it through despite being given that many second chances just makes it sting a little more.
The stop from David Trox. in overtime. He's back in net by himself, getting challenged out of the corner. Somehow manages to get up, get upside down, flip into it, and put the ball back into the corner from whence it came. Like, oh, that place literally saved the game. Gonk was coming in for the shot, but no. Gonk will have to cry some Gonk tears and hopefully wait for another major as he will be done. Chat, it's been incredible. We've got one more series coming up after this. Legacy going to be taking on Air Eternity. Air Eternity just reverse swept Carnage to get to this point. Can they keep the hot streak going? We'll see after the break.